Right now, 3 million people live next to the most dangerous volcano in Europe. They know exactly what happened last time, and they are not leaving. In 79 AD, a normal Roman city woke up on a normal morning. Markets were open, children were in school, politicians were campaigning. By the next day, the entire city was gone, buried alive, frozen in time, for almost 2,000 years. But the story of Pompeii is not what you think it is. This is what really happened. Chapter 1. The City That Didn't Know. The people of Pompeii had no idea they were living next to a volcano. They thought Vesuvius was just a mountain, a big, beautiful, fertile mountain with excellent farmland. 17 years before the eruption, a massive earthquake destroyed much of the city. Buildings collapsed, water pipes shattered, thousands fled. But they rebuilt, and they stayed. Nobody connected the earthquake to the volcano. In the weeks before the eruption, the wells began to dry up. Small tremors shook the ground daily. Animals behaved strangely and fled the area. But the people of Pompeii saw none of these as warnings. On the morning of August 24th, 79 AD, 20,000 people woke up for what they thought was another normal day. It was the last morning most of them would ever see. Chapter 2. 18 Hours of Hell. At 1 in the afternoon, Vesuvius exploded. Not slowly, not with warning. One moment there was a mountain, the next a column of fire and ash 30 kilometers high. The eruption released more than 100,000 times the thermal energy of the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. In the first hours, ash and pumice rained down on Pompeii. People tied pillows to their heads to protect themselves from falling rocks. Some fled toward the sea, others hid in their homes. By nightfall, the ash was so thick that roofs began to collapse, crushing everyone sheltering inside. Then, at 7 in the morning of August 25th, the volcano column collapsed, and the pyroclastic surge was unleashed. A wall of gas and rock moving faster than a hurricane, at 300 degrees Celsius, hot enough to kill every living thing in a fraction of a second. Pompeii had no warning, no time to run. The city died in an instant. Chapter 3. The Bodies That Are Not Bodies. What you see in photos of Pompeii are not real bodies. They're plaster casts. When the pyroclastic surge hit, the ash hardened instantly around every victim. Over centuries, the bodies decomposed inside, leaving a perfect human-shaped void in the rock. In 1863, archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli had a revolutionary idea. Pour liquid plaster into those voids, and what emerged were perfect casts of people frozen in their final moments. A mother clutching her child, a man covering his face, a dog curled in agony. But then, modern DNA testing revealed something disturbing. The famous cast of a mother holding her child, the most iconic image of Pompeii, was not a mother and child at all. DNA tests proved they were two unrelated adult men. Who they were, why they died together, nobody knows. 2,000 years of silence. Chapter 4. The Brain That Turned to Glass. Pompeii was not the only city destroyed that day. 6 kilometers away, the city of Herculaneum was hit even harder. While Pompeii was buried in ash, Herculaneum was buried under 23 meters of volcanic material. The temperature there was even higher. And in 2020, scientists made one of the most disturbing discoveries in archaeological history. In the skull of one victim, They found something no one had ever seen before. His brain had turned to glass. The extreme heat of the pyroclastic surge, over 500 degrees Celsius, had vitrified his brain tissue. Organs vaporized, blood boiled, brains turned to obsidian. Death came so fast that some victims showed no signs of pain at all. They were simply gone, in a fraction of a second. Chapter 5. The City Frozen in Time. When archaeologists began excavating Pompeii in the 18th century, they found something extraordinary. Not just bodies, not just buildings, an entire Roman city preserved exactly as it was on August 24th, 79 AD. Bread still in the ovens, wine still in the jars, graffiti still on the walls, political campaign slogans, love poems, insults, shopping lists. They found a fast food restaurant with the menu still painted on the wall. They found a brothel with explicit frescoes showing the services available and their prices. They found the home of a wealthy merchant, his safe still locked, his jewellery still inside. A city of 20,000 people simply stopped, mid-sentence, mid-meal, mid-life. No other place on earth gives us such a complete picture of how ordinary Romans actually lived. Pompeii was not a monument, it was a home. Chapter 6. The survivors nobody talks about. Most people assume that everyone in Pompeii died. They didn't. Thousands escaped, mostly in the first hours before the pyroclastic surge. But what happened next is rarely mentioned. Shortly after the eruption ended, survivors returned. Not to rebuild, but to dig. They tunnelled through the ash, looking for their homes, their valuables, their dead. Some found what they were looking for, others found only ash. And then something strange happened. The Roman Emperor sent workers to officially excavate the site. Not to help survivors, not to honour the dead, but to recover the state's valuables, marble, bronze, anything worth selling. Pompeii was looted by the Roman government within months of the disaster. The city was then sealed, abandoned, and forgotten for over 1,600 years. Until a farmer found something strange beneath his vineyard in 1748. Chapter 7. Vesuvius today. Here is what most people don't know about Mount Vesuvius today. It has not erupted since 1944. That was 80 years ago. And volcanologists say that the longer it stays quiet, the more dangerous the next eruption will be. 3 million people live in the danger zone. 600,000 of them are in the immediate evacuation zone, the red zone, where survival in a major eruption is considered nearly impossible. Italy has an evacuation plan. It involves moving 600,000 people in 72 hours. Experts say the plan has almost no chance of working. The roads are too narrow, the population is too large, and nobody actually wants to leave. Many families have lived in the shadow of Vesuvius for generations. They know what happened to Pompeii, and they are not leaving. Chapter 8. The next eruption. Scientists have been warning about Vesuvius for decades. Not if it will erupt, but when. Vesuvius is not dormant, it is sleeping, and beneath the mountain, the magma chamber is still active, still building pressure, still waiting. The eruption of 79 AD was not the largest eruption in Vesuvius history, not even close. Around 4,000 years ago, Vesuvius produced an eruption so powerful that it may have destroyed entire Bronze Age civilizations across the Mediterranean. The next major eruption, scientists estimate, could be 10 times more powerful than 79 AD, 10 times more powerful than the eruption that buried Pompeii. 3 million people, one volcano, no warning. Pompeii was not a tragedy of the past. It is a warning for the future, and the clock is still ticking. In 79 AD, 20,000 people woke up on a normal morning. By the next day, they were gone, frozen in time, preserved in ash, forgotten for 1,600 years. Pompeii is not just an archaeological site. It is the most complete snapshot of human life ever preserved. And somewhere beneath that ash, there are still secrets we haven't found. Still stories we haven't heard. Still voids waiting to be filled. What do you think archaeologists will find next in Pompeii? If this changed how you see history, subscribe to Mythic Whispers. Every week, the stories that shaped the world, that nobody taught you in school.